Hi everyone, this is Joe at Aya Juku and this is a video for our F students, and today's topic is relative clauses. Difficult one. Okay, first we're going to do a little word test. Okay, so I want you to get a piece of paper and have a pen. Okay, I'm going to put 9 words on the board, and I want you to write them down and change them to Japanese. Okay, and then unpause it and then you can check the answers. Okay, so try to do it by yourself, have a practice, what's that word, and okay, and then check it on the video. Okay, so here are the words. Okay, so write these words down and then pause the video and then check the answers. Okay, here come the answers. Okay, so we're going to go through the answers now. So make sure that you've got all your answers down. Let's see, how do we say this word? Promise. Okay, so promise is yakusoku. Okay, so promise, yakusoku. Employ. Employ, how do you say employ? Okay, it means to give a job to somebody. So, how do you say it? Yatou. Okay, yatou is to give a job, to employ. Hire is the same. Next one, realize. To realize something is to understand. Okay, hakkiri irikai suru. Okay, like that time. I realize. Okay, next one, trouble. Trouble is trouble. Okay, trouble, mondai, problem, that kind of thing is trouble. Okay, next one, opportunity. To have an opportunity is to have a chance. Okay, some kind of chance and opportunity. In Japanese, what's it called? Kikai? Kikai. Yeah, that's it. Kikai. Opportunity. Next one, spread. To spread something, you can have a nantuka spread, like a butter. Is to spread is to hirogeru. Okay, to spread. Next one, support. 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 Okay, in Japanese, support. Some kind of helping. Okay, some help or support. Contain. To contain something is to have inside. To fukumu. Okay, to contain. And last one, waste. Waste is muda ni suru. Okay, waste. So I hope you got those words right. Okay, if you didn't get them right, remember to write them in your Tango book and practice, practice, practice. Okay, so let's get on with today's class. Okay, so relative clauses, the topic today. Relative clauses are parts of sentence that give more information. So in Japanese, we call it関係代名詞. So this part here, that give more information. What kind of part of sentence is parts that give more information? Okay, so relative clauses are parts of a sentence, it's a clause, that give more information. So it's kind of difficult, it's very difficult, okay? It's difficult to understand. So this part here, that give more information, is the relative clause. So we use that or who, which, whom, whose, where, when, why. So many of those question words plus that also. And we use it in this part here. So today, maybe you know about using these. So we're going to do a quick basic covering all of this today. And then over the next few weeks, we will go a bit deeper and deeper. Okay, so today just doing a quick practice of relative clause. So the relative clause gives extra information about the people in the sentence, the object, some kind of thing, a place, a time or a reason in the first part. Okay, so they give extra information. Sometimes there's an overlap. Okay, so maybe if we say a school, is a school a place or is a school an object? Okay, sometimes if it's a class, is it a group of people or is it an object? So sometimes there's a like a overlap. Okay, also something else about relative clause. Sometimes there is formal relative clause and informal, casual. Okay, so sometimes it's a little bit different. Maybe when and where is not real relative clause. Okay, so it's a little bit sometimes difficult where say whom is not used anymore, but people use who instead. So there's lots of strict rules and it's very formal, and if you are writing, maybe this is important. But if we are talking and just communicating, it can be casual and it can be this informal way. Okay, so the different words we use for each one. So let's see. So for people, we use who, whom, which, or that. The person who is standing there is my mother. Okay, so the person, I talked to the person whom is standing there. Okay, so it's a little bit informal, this one. We'll give some more examples later, so don't worry. Which, okay, so the same kind of thing when we use the people which do this or that. And that, so that is the most common, and we can use it for almost all of these. But for people, we use who, whom, which, or that. And for objects we use which, whose, and that. Okay, so we use which, whose, and that for objects. For places, we use where. For time, we use when. And for reasons, we use why. Okay, sometimes maybe that might jump in here a little bit, but generally places are where, time when, reasons why. Okay, so let's do some examples for each of these to see how they are used. Okay, so these are some examples about people. Okay, so this first one, they are my students that work really hard. Okay, let's try it together. They are my students that work really hard. So this part here, that work really hard, is the relative clause. Okay, so this relative clause, and this explains about the students. Okay, what students? They are my students. They are my students. Is enough. That's a sentence. Dong, teng is okay. But what students? Okay, what students? The students that work really hard. Okay, they are working really hard students. They are my students that work really hard. Okay, so it describes, it gives more information about these students. Okay, so those 5 students, okay, those 3, they are my students that work really hard. Those 2, those are the students that don't work really hard. Okay, so they are my students that work really hard. Okay, this that can also change. Okay, we could say who or whom. Okay, the difference whom and who is we use whom for the object. Okay, this is very grammar. I don't like to teach grammar so much. Okay, the 2 people. Okay, the people who are doing and the people who are the verb is coming to. Okay, they are my students. Okay, if it was they, this is describing they, then it would be who. If this is describing the students, it describes with a whom. Okay, this is the object. Maybe you've learned about this S, V, O. Okay, whom is used for the O, who is used for the S. But in informal, casual English, we don't use whom. We just say who. They are my students who work really hard. Is okay. Okay, for casual English. But maybe on any English test or something like that, maybe be careful about the whom is for the object, who is for the subject. Okay? Don't worry too much for my homework. Okay, when I ask you to do homework, who is fine. I rarely use whom in any speaking. Okay, I don't speak formally to my students. We speak casually and we chat and we communicate is important. But whom is official for writing English. Okay, be careful about that. Next example, student whose names begin with A, please stand up. Okay, so this whose names begin with A is the relative clause describing the students. Which students? Yeah, which students should stand up? Oh, the students whose names begin with A, please stand up. Okay, so sometimes we can put this relative clause at the end of the sentence. Sometimes it can go in the middle and it's describing these students. Okay? As always, the best way to understand the meaning is to do some examples and for yourself to do some examples. Okay? Practice doing it and see how they change. Okay? When you do it at the beginning and the end. Okay? Okay, a couple of examples about objects this time. The videos which I put on YouTube have been watched by my students. Okay, so here we have which I put on YouTube have been watched by my students. So this phrase here, this clause is the relative clause. And it comes after the noun here, this videos. What videos? The videos which I put on YouTube have been watched by my students. So if we didn't have this part, the videos have been watched by my students. So let's say we are talking, oh, I put lots of videos on YouTube. Oh, really? Yeah. The videos have been watched by my students. It's okay, perfect. But if I just say, the videos have been watched by my students, which videos? The videos which I put on YouTube have been watched by my students. Okay, so it gives information, it tells us what videos. Okay, the videos which I put on YouTube have been watched by my students. Yeah. Next one, the mobile phone whose screen is cracked is mine. Okay, so this part here, whose screen is cracked is mine. Two mobile phones, okay. These two mobile phones are this one and this one. Which one is mine? The mobile phone whose screen is cracked. Okay, so this one, the screen belongs to the mobile phone. This mobile phone's screen. Okay, so we say whose in this case, again for objects. Okay, the chair whose leg is broken is something. The chair is going to be thrown away. Okay, I'm going to throw that chair away instead of. Why? Well, the chair has a broken leg. Okay, so the chair whose leg is broken is going to be thrown away. Okay, that kind of thing. So the mobile phone whose screen is cracked is mine. Yes, I cracked my screen. So angry. Okay, next one about places. The town where I live is a wonderful place. So yeah, it's right. Where I live is the relative clause. Okay, the town is a wonderful place. This town is a wonderful place. Or the town where I live is a wonderful place. This is informal English. Okay, where I live. It's correct, it's no problem, but maybe some people would argue, no, this is not right. It's not formal English. If I said it in formal English, the town in which I live is a wonderful place. This is more formal English, okay? Formal, formal to informal 言ってね。Casual and formal は丁寧 okay? Casual は casual? I don't know. Okay, so formal, this is formal English. The town in which I live is a wonderful place. But regular, casual, normal English, the town where I live is a wonderful place, is no problem. This is for places, this town. Okay, the town that I live in is a wonderful place. Sometimes it changes around. If I say that, the town that I live in is a wonderful place. Okay, it's maybe better. Okay, this one is about time. So I'm so busy on the day. So what day? When I edit these videos. So these videos, when I do these YouTube videos, when I'm editing on Friday, then it's a very busy day. So I'm so busy on that day. What day? when I edit these videos. Okay, I'm so busy on the day when I edit these videos. So again, this is informal. If I want to change it to formal, I'm so busy on the day in which I edit these videos. Yeah, I'm so busy on the day in which I edit these videos. This is more formal English. Also, another thing that we're going to look at in coming weeks is when we just erase this part. I'm so busy on the day I edit these videos is also a possibility. Okay, so in future videos we'll look at something else. I'll tell you in a second. Okay, the last one is reasons, and always it follows the reason. So the reason why I make these videos is to help my students. So the reason is to help my students. Why do you make these videos? It is because I want to help my students. Yeah. So the reason why I make these videos is to help my students. So I could rewrite everything. I help my students. I make these videos because I want to help my students. Okay, that kind of thing. So the reason why I make these videos is to help my students. Don't worry too much, okay? The idea is I want you to practice using these 5, making sentences about people, about objects, about places, what's the other one? Time, okay? And reasons, okay? So I want you to try to practice using them, and then you will understand, okay? Or I will correct your English, and then slowly you can understand why. In the next few classes, we will cover about not using, where's my eraser gone? Not using this one. So the reason I make these videos is to help students. So why can we take this why away? Or sometimes we can take it out, sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. The difference between the son who is, my son who is a doctor works in Tokyo, and my son who is a doctor works in Tokyo. So there's different meanings about using commas and not using commas, so the difference is there, and we'll go deeper into this relative clause. First, I want you to send me some homework and write some sentences, practice using them, and if you all understand this class, then we can go deeper and deeper. If you don't understand, I will review and go deeper into each point a little bit to explain a bit more easily. Okay? But first, maybe you understand this class, so we can practice a bit deeper from next week. Okay? Okay, so homework, 10 new words. Let's just check the pronunciation. Ready? Protection, medicine, experience, damage, neighbor, discount, presentation, announcement, performance, and couple. Okay, so check in your dictionaries, what do these words mean? And you can use this word plus the relative clause homework. Okay, you can put them together, a bit difficult. The reason why I need protection is because I am dangerous. I don't know. So you can use this one plus this one, or just separate. Learn these words and write 5 sentences using relative clauses from today's class. Okay? Have a try, have a practice, and send me any questions that you have if you don't understand everything. Okay? Have a try, and I will see you next week. Okay? Thank you very much. Take care, and see you next time.